I accidentally heard my wife planning to destroy me. File Monday, take half, he won't see it coming. They turned my home into a surveillance trap, my marriage into a business deal. I didn't confront her. I let them finish the plan. Then I tore it down, legally, completely. The garage door rattled shut behind me. I'd forgotten my phone inside, but Alexandra's voice carried through the thin wall. Thomas says we file Monday. Irreconcilable differences. Her tone was clinical. The business valuation came back at $2.8 million. Half of that plus spousal support should set me up nicely. I pressed my back against the cold metal door. 23 years reduced to numbers. What about James? That was her mother, Pamela. He'll survive. Blue-collar types always do. Alexandra's laugh held no warmth. Besides, Dominic's partnership offer is contingent on my being available. Dominic, the smooth-talking lawyer from her firm who'd been coming around more often lately. The security camera system he installed last month is perfect, Alexandra continued. I can monitor when he's actually working versus playing with his tools. Documentation for the divorce proceedings. The camera. I'd installed it to protect our home. She'd turned it into surveillance equipment. I slipped back through the side door, grabbed my phone. Alexandra was still in the living room with her parents, planning my destruction like a construction project. Methodical, efficient, profitable. In my workshop, I sat on the wooden stool I'd built when we first moved here. 23 years. The foundation I'd thought was solid had been crumbling beneath my feet. I opened my phone and started taking notes. If Alexandra wanted to play contractor, she'd learn that I'd been in the demolition business longer than she knew. The first rule of construction: always check the foundation. The first rule of demolition: know exactly what you're tearing down. The papers were tucked inside her briefcase like a loaded gun. I found them Tuesday morning while she showered, singing cheerfully. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Filed but not served. The language was sterile, devastating. Irreconcilable differences. Request for spousal support. Division of marital assets including Hartwell Construction LLC. My business. The company I'd built from nothing. She wanted half. I photographed every page, hands steady despite the rage. The shower was still running. Time to dig deeper. Her laptop was password protected, but I knew Alexandra. Third try, Thornfield, 1989. The screen bloomed to life. Email threads with Dominic stretched back 8 months. Business correspondence, then personal, then intimate. The progression was methodical. Can't wait to be free of this suburban prison, she'd written last week. James is so predictable. He has no idea what's coming. Dominic's response: the partnership papers are ready. Once you're divorced, we can make this official, both personally and professionally. I scrolled through financial records. She'd been moving money, small amounts, consistently. Our joint savings was lighter than I'd realized. Money flowing to an account I didn't recognize. The shower stopped. I closed the laptop, slipped the papers back exactly as I'd found them. When Alexandra emerged, I was scrolling through work emails. Morning, she said, not looking at me. I'll be late tonight. Big case preparation. With Dominic? She paused. The whole team. You know how these corporate mergers get. I nodded, watching her select a black suit. Professional armor for professional betrayal. After she left, I sat with my coffee growing cold. The house felt different now, not a home, but a crime scene. Every shared memory contaminated by the knowledge that she'd been planning this for months. The foundation was cracked. Time to see how deep the damage went. Magnolia met me at the diner on Route 9, sliding into the booth with the same careful grace that ran in the Thornfield family. But where Alexandra wielded that elegance like a weapon, her younger sister wore it like an apology. I wasn't sure you'd come, she said, ordering black coffee. Your text was compelling. We need to talk about Alexandra. You're in danger. I studied her face. How much do you know? Enough. She showed me a screenshot of a group text. Alexandra, Thomas, their parents. They think I'm too naive to understand their plans. The sweet little sister who teaches kindergarten and believes in fairy tales. The messages were clinical. Financial strategies, asset protection, timeline management. My marriage dissected like a business acquisition. Thomas suggested they accelerate the timeline, Magnolia said. He's worried you might catch on. I had been asking questions about the business accounts. The audit I'd requested wasn't due back until Friday, but preliminary numbers showed discrepancies. Why are you telling me this? She stirred her coffee, not drinking it. Because you're a good man, James. Remember when Dad had his heart attack? You drove to the hospital every day for 2 weeks, sat with Mom while he was in surgery. Alexandra barely visited. I remembered. I'd brought Pamela coffee, held her hand during the worst moments. Alexandra had been busy with a case. They see you as disposable, Magnolia continued, but I've watched you build something real. That matters. What do they want exactly? Everything. She showed me another screenshot. Thomas found a loophole in your business structure. He thinks they can claim 70%. My stomach dropped. The early incorporation papers, I'd filed them myself to save money. If there was a flaw, there's more. Dominic isn't just her lover. He's her business partner. They've already started a firm together, Thornfield and Associates. She's been using your money to fund their startup. The pieces clicked. The missing money, her late nights. She wasn't just leaving me, she was stealing from me to build a new life with another man. What should I do? Magnolia reached across the table, covered my hand with hers. You're a builder, James. You know how to tear things down safely, too. But you need to be smarter than they are. She was right. Demolition wasn't about rage. It was about precision, knowing exactly which supports to remove so the whole structure came down clean. Will you help me? I've been helping you since I sent that text. She smiled sadly. Family isn't just blood, James. Sometimes it's choosing the right side. The accountant's report arrived Friday morning like a loaded weapon. $47,000. Transferred systematically over 8 months to an account registered under Thornfield and Associates. I photographed every page, uploading them to a secure cloud folder. The digital evidence was mounting. Emails, financial records, legal documents. Everything documented with construction project precision. The security system proved invaluable. I accessed footage from my phone, scrolling through weeks of recordings. Dominic arriving when I was at job sites, staying for hours, building their case against me in my own home. My phone buzzed. Text from Alexandra. Working late again. Don't wait up. I checked the timestamp, then pulled up the live camera feed. Her car wasn't in the driveway. Hadn't been since noon. Another message from an unknown number. Dinner tonight? Magnolia gave me your number. Riley. Riley. A paralegal who'd worked with Thomas, knew the family's legal strategies. Someone else disgusted with their methods. I met her at a quiet restaurant across town. She was younger than expected, maybe 30, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Magnolia says you need help navigating the legal maze, she said, sliding a manila envelope across the table. These are copies of documents Thomas has been preparing. The papers inside were devastating. They'd built a comprehensive case portraying me as an abusive, controlling husband who'd hidden assets. Character witnesses included neighbors I'd never met, employees I'd supposedly mistreated. None of this is true, I said. Truth isn't the point. Perception is. Riley's voice was matter of fact. They're painting you as the villain, so Alexandra looks like the victim. How do I fight this? You don't fight it. You dismantle it. She pulled out another folder. These are the real financial records from Thomas's office, showing how they've been moving money, creating false documentation, fabricating evidence. I studied the documents. Forged signatures, backdated contracts, fraudulent transfers. They'd built their case on lies, and like any faulty structure, it could be brought down if you knew where to apply pressure. "There's something else," Riley said. "They're planning to serve you Monday morning. Public humiliation at your job site." The cruelty was breathtaking. Not content with destroying my marriage and stealing my business, they wanted to humiliate me professionally. But they'd made a mistake. They'd assumed I was just another victim, too shocked to fight back strategically. They didn't understand that building sometimes meant tearing down what came before. "What do you need from me?" I asked. Riley smiled. "Sunday dinner. Magnolia says the whole family will be there. Perfect time to unveil your counter-proposal." Sunday dinner at the Thornfield house was a command performance. Alexandra had insisted I come, probably wanting one last family gathering before serving the papers Monday morning. I arrived with flowers for Pamela and wine for Elijah. The perfect, predictable son-in-law playing his role until the end. The dining room was set for 7, the Last Supper, though they didn't know it yet. "How's the construction business?" Elijah asked, carving the roast. "I imagine this economy has been challenging." "Actually, we're doing better than ever," I said. "The forensic audit came back clean. Amazing what you find when you really dig into the numbers." Alexandra's fork paused halfway to her mouth. Thomas looked up from his phone. "Audit?" Pamela asked. "Very thorough. Amazing the patterns you see when you track money movement over time." I pulled out my phone, opened the folder of screenshots. "For instance, did you know that $47,000 has been transferred from our business account to something called Thornfield and Associates?" The silence was immediate and complete. "I'm sure there's an explanation," Thomas said carefully. "Oh, there is." I smiled, scrolling through the evidence. Turns out Thornfield and Associates is a law firm, partnership between Alexandra and her colleague Dominic. They've been using my money to fund their startup. Alexandra's face had gone white. "James, this isn't the time or place. Actually, it's perfect timing." I pulled out the printed divorce papers, set them on the table. "Since you were planning to serve these tomorrow morning at my job site. Public humiliation, right?" Elijah was staring at his daughter. "Alexandra, what is this?" "Those are private legal documents," Thomas said. "Obtained illegally from Alexandra's briefcase, in my house. Pretty sure a husband has access rights to community property." I turned to Magnolia. "Thanks for the heads up about the timeline." Thomas's face flushed red. "Magnolia, you had no right." "I had every right to warn James about fraud." She pulled out her own phone. "Especially when you're using forged signatures and backdated contracts to steal his business." I laid out the evidence methodically. Financial records, email threads, security footage of Dominic entering our house, the fabricated witness statements, the money trail leading to their new firm. "This is..." Pamela's voice was faint. "Criminal fraud," I finished. "Identity theft, conspiracy. The FBI takes financial crimes seriously." Alexandra finally found her voice. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" I pulled out the business receipt from my meeting with Riley. "Retained counsel Friday afternoon. Filed complaints with the State Bar Association and the District Attorney's Office. Turns out your plan to destroy me was built on quicksand." The room erupted. Thomas shouting about legal privilege. Pamela demanding explanations. Elijah staring at his daughter like she was a stranger. But I was watching Alexandra. The mask had finally slipped completely. No more pretense. Just cold calculation and fury that her perfect plan had collapsed. "You think you've won," she said quietly. "I think I've survived." I stood up. "The divorce papers you filed are void now. Fraud invalidates the entire proceeding. The money you stole will be returned with interest. And Dominic, well, his partnership prospects have changed significantly." I walked to the door, then turned back. "Oh, and Alexandra? The security cameras you mentioned? They've been recording everything, including tonight." The last thing I heard before closing the door was crystal breaking against the wall. The legal aftermath unfolded like a controlled demolition. Thomas lost his license pending investigation. Dominic's firm dissolved before it officially opened. Alexandra faced criminal charges for fraud and theft. I sat in my lawyer's office Tuesday morning, signing papers that would officially separate my business from the wreckage of my marriage. The forensic audit had revealed the full scope, nearly $60,000 stolen over 10 months. They really thought they could outsmart you, Riley said, reviewing the settlement terms. Underestimated the quiet contractor. People see what they want to see. I initialed another page. They saw someone they could use and discard. My phone buzzed. Text from Magnolia. Coffee later? Want to hear how you're doing? The one family member who'd chosen integrity over loyalty. She'd paid a price. Her parents weren't speaking to her. Thomas had threatened to sue her. But she seemed lighter somehow, freed from their toxic dynamics. What happens now? Riley asked. Now I rebuild. I signed the final document, officially dissolving the marriage that had ended months ago in all but paperwork. Clean slate, solid foundation, better materials. The business was intact, stronger actually. Removing Alexandra's influence had eliminated the financial irregularities. My employees were relieved. They'd sensed something was wrong. I walked out into crisp October air. The city looked different somehow, colors sharper, possibilities clearer. For the first time in months, I could breathe without feeling like someone was standing on my chest. My phone rang. Unknown number. James, this is Sarah Chen from Meridian Development. We met at the Contractors Expo last month. I remembered. Smart woman, impressive projects, mutual respect for quality work. She'd mentioned potential collaboration opportunities. I heard you might be available for a major commercial project, she continued. Mixed-use development downtown. Interested in discussing partnership terms? Partnership. The word Alexandra had weaponized now offered genuine possibility. Very interested, I said. Excellent. How about dinner Thursday? We can talk about building something worthwhile. I smiled, watching traffic flow past. Building something worthwhile. After months of tearing down lies and deception, the prospect of creating something real felt like redemption. Thursday works perfectly, I said. The foundation was solid again. Time to see what we could build on it. 3 months later, I stood in the half-finished lobby of the Meridian Tower, watching sunlight stream through floor-to-ceiling windows. The building was taking shape exactly as we'd envisioned. Modern but warm, functional but beautiful. Sarah emerged from the elevator, hard hat tucked under her arm, blueprints in hand. Our partnership had evolved beyond professional courtesy into genuine friendship. Maybe more, though we were taking that possibility slowly, carefully. The electrical inspection passed, she said, joining me at the windows. We're ahead of schedule and under budget. Amazing what happens when everyone's working toward the same goal. I accepted the coffee she offered. Any word on the other situation? Alexandra's trial was scheduled for next month. The evidence was overwhelming. Financial records, email threads, witness testimony. Her lawyer was pushing for a plea bargain, but the prosecutor wanted to make an example of professional fraud. Magnolia says she's finally ready to testify, I said. Last piece of the puzzle. It had taken months for Alexandra's sister to agree to formal testimony. Family loyalty ran deep, even when the family didn't deserve it. But the truth had weight of its own. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. You destroyed everything I worked for. Hope you're happy. Alexandra, still trying to make me the villain in her story. I deleted the message without responding. Some foundations couldn't be repaired. They had to be torn down completely before you could build something new, something honest, something that would last. I looked up at the steel beams rising toward the sky, then at Sarah reviewing the blueprints with quiet satisfaction. We were building something worthwhile here, something real. The foundation was solid, the structure was sound. and for the first time in years, I was exactly where I belonged.